Namaste everyone, good morning and welcome each and every one of you for a series of talks which are the Sutra talks we are doing on every Saturday and Sunday morning, and here we are covering the Diamond Sutra, and the series is tagged as Living the Diamond Sutra. So for living the Diamond Sutra we need to know what is the practical application of this text, which was you can say written down 2500 years ago. And for that, we have a special guest with us, an expert guide who will help us to know and realize that how is this applicable for us in today's day-to-day life. So I would like to welcome Dr. Rajesh Savera. Welcome, Rajesh sir.
Yeah, Namaste
Good
Dhruv.
morning. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming. And we'll go for our practice for some time. We'll do a practice of 9 to 0. So maybe the slide is not there, but we'll practice for 9 to 0.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go to the first page where we can see that the this in the PDF that this is the also called the Vajrachedika Pragya Paramita Sutra, and in English it is the Diamond Sutra. We are covering the chapter 3 here, and before that, Rajesh sir, what is any fun fact for the day?
Yeah, so the fun fact for today's Diamond Sutra is that we all know that this was one of the first printed books that we saw last time, right, in the
Yes.
world, and it was used as a means of sharing it with the people. And the fun fact here is that this is like a conversational podcast between a disciple and its teacher. This is
Hmm.
happening, and this was recorded real time. So people think that many people have this myth that this uh,
Hmm.
is a fabricated sutra. But how can somebody fabricate such a beautiful sutra? Instead, every sutra that starts with "Thus have I heard"
Hmm.
is like an authentic sutra that was recorded in real time
Hmm.
during the time of the Buddha himself. So all his conversations, discussions were recorded. So this one that you are listening or
Hmm.
you're studying is basically a recorded session of those times. Like you have recorded sessions now. This is
Hmm.
a recorded session at that time, and the way to record that time was to write it down. So
Hmm.
this is another fact that we need to know, that this is a live recorded session of
Hmm.
say 2500 years ago, which
Hmm.
we have access today to witness and understand from the conversation of two great people, one a great teacher, the other a great disciple.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's interesting to know that, because you would doubt, right, that whether this was something fabricated or not. But to know that every time a sutra which contains thus have I heard, that means that this is an authenticated sutra where it was a live conversation and a podcast of that time between Buddha and all the people. So good to know many ideas, like even at that time, Buddha was so modern. So of course, this is going to be applied in modern days. So let us go to the chapter 3, which is there for us today, which is vow to save all beings. And here the chapter goes as, because like in the last chapter, Subhuti has asked these questions, and now it is continuing with Buddha instructing Subhuti that Buddha instructed Subhuti, Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas should control their thoughts as follows. All types of beings, whether born from eggs, from wombs, from moisture, or by transformation, whether they have forms or are formless, whether they have thoughts or are thoughtless, have non thought nor no non thought, I shall lead them into perfect nirvana.
Yeah. So if you look at this, this is a vow.
Hmm.
Okay. And Buddha, he's saying this to Subhuti. What is he telling? What was Subhuti's question where it actually started?
Hmm.
Was the question that how do I focus my mind and control my thoughts, right? That was his basically question, that he wanted the virtuous man and a virtuous woman who wishes to attain the Anantara Samyak Sambodhi. How should they focus their mind and control their thoughts? And here Buddha agreed to that question. He reiterated that question and said, "Is that what your question is?" Then yes, Subhuti also confirmed that this is the question, that I am asking. And then Buddha also acknowledged that I'm going to answer this question. And now, when he's instructing Subhuti, he's saying that Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas should control their thoughts as follows. So he's answering the second question.
Hmm.
Subhuti posed two questions: how
Yes.
to focus the mind and how to control the thoughts. And he asked that it is for the virtuous man and a virtuous woman. Now, here, see what beautiful it is. When Subhuti was using the words, he was using how a virtuous man and a virtuous woman, they who wish to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. And while Buddha, he is using the word Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas should concentrate. So he has already considered those who are virtuous as Bodhisattvas
Hmm.
and Mahasattvas. So he is not using the word the virtuous man and virtuous woman, because from the eye of a Buddha, he already knows that the ones who are virtuous are already on the path of Bodhisattva and Mahasattva. And he is saying that they should control their thoughts as follows. So, second, he is not talking about how to focus the mind, he's talking about how to control the thoughts, because he's saying that even he has taken a vow: I shall lead all of the beings into perfect nirvana. So, here, what is he saying? All types of being, whether they are born from eggs, from womb, from moisture, or by transformation. Now, this is how beings are born on this planet.
Hmm.
They either are born through eggs, the womb, the moisture transformation, and as a Buddha, he knows that everything that is born will actually grow, perish, and then finish. So, this is how the nature of this earth is, this land is. And he knows that these phenomena that are born, the impermanence that it comes along with, I have now realized it, I have understood it, and whatsoever being it is, I know that beings are born because of conditional states. Like, for example, you take milk. Okay, once you realize that this milk will become the source, that if you don't take care of the milk, it will get spoiled and then you'll have to throw it away. But if you know that the milk and its nature, what happens to it at a particular temperature when it's exposed to certain things, now you know how to take care of the milk. Now you know how to freeze it, keep it for a longer time. You know how to pasteurize it, make sure that it is completely sterile and no other bacteria there. You can actually inoculate it with good bacteria. You can make curd out of it. From the curd you can make buttermilk. From the buttermilk you can take out the ghee. So only because you know the process now, you can transform that little milk into something valuable as ghee.
Hmm.
Similarly, a Buddha who sees the world and sees why there is suffering
Hmm.
and knows how to liberate, he can see that whatsoever being born from eggs, womb, moisture, or even by transformation, whether they have form or are formless, because what we see with our senses is all form, name and form, right? But there
Yes.
could be beings that are not in that name and form. I mean, not in our radius of our senses, could be beyond, because you cannot see everything, right? You need tools to see everything. Like, you cannot see the bacteria and the viruses, but with tools you can. And here it is talking about those which are form or formless, whether they have thoughts or thoughtless, or
Hmm.
are thoughtless. Now when I'm saying thoughts or thoughtless means one who are basically born, okay, who can again breed, or one who are born who cannot breed. Like for example, there are things that manifest but they cannot produce more. So there can be a thought that produces more thoughts, and then there are these beings who can think. But there could be beings who absolutely don't have the ability to think. They are thoughtless beings, right? And
Hmm.
who have non-thought or no non-thought, or some who have a mind without any thinking process, but who could not even have a mind, absolutely no non-thought. So for example, even a stone, consider a stone is also a being, right? It's a form, but it is in a no non-thought state, right? It does not have anything in it. But what here Buddha is saying, that every ingredient here, I shall lead everybody to perfect nirvana. Now what is nirvana is what is going to help us understand that he is making a vow, and that vow is a promise that he's telling them, and that assurance that he gives to Subhuti, that trust me, it doesn't matter who it is, whether virtuous or not virtuous, all those who are on the path of Bodhisattva and Mahasattva, they all shall be led to perfect nirvana. How? By his understanding, by his vow, and that promise that one takes, that it's like a lifeguard at the beach. He says, whosoever is going out to swim, I promise that I will take that vow to save anybody, maybe man, woman, child, old man, whoever it is. Whoever is in drowning, I'll go and save them. Now
Hmm.
that's a
Hmm.
vow, right? The same
Yes.
thing a doctor takes a vow, a
Hmm.
Hippocrates oath, right? That he tells, I will not discriminate while I'm healing people. I will treat everybody equally. I will give medicines to everybody. So here it is about the vow, and here Buddha is saying that because I choose to save everybody, whatsoever it is, without any discrimination, no differentiation. That's the first step that he's answering the question, how should one control the thoughts? And the essence here is by non differentiation.
Oh, so that is the basic essence where we say
Yeah.
now because we have entered in the heart. So the key of the Diamond Sutra lies with the non-differentiation.
Non differentiation, whatsoever it is. So when you do something in life, so
Hmm.
example, you want to do not differentiate, do not choose to only deliver it to some people. You
Hmm.
should
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
it for everyone. You cannot open a cafe and say this is only for XYZ. No,
Hmm.
it doesn't work. It works for everybody who have the ability to pay for a coffee and take it. It doesn't matter who it is. So tomorrow you have a coffee shop, and a beggar who has the money to buy a coffee can walk in, but you'll have to serve him exactly like a rich man who comes and buys the coffee, because he's paying the same price. You cannot
Oh.
treat him differently. You cannot say, hey, you're shabbily dressed, you're dirty, you don't sit here. No, 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 no. You'll have to treat him exactly like if there was a rich man walking in paying that. It doesn't matter. The rich man would pay with his card. This man would put his money, whatever he got, and he's giving you the money. You will have to treat him equally.
Hmm.
So in life, when you learn this, that when it comes up to even doing a job, okay, you will not differentiate that, oh, I worked, I've got now a better opportunity, so now my last 1 month of my notice period, I'm not going to give my best. There is no need, I'm moving to another organization. No, that's not good.
Hmm.
Even while that 1 month you have, you should be still giving the same thing that you would be giving to the next organization.
Hmm.
Or when you go to the next organization, deliver the same quality, everything to that organization, maybe better.
Hmm.
Okay, so always remember, never differentiate. If you respect your uncle, then respect your parents also. If you respect your parents, then respect the uncle also. And not only your uncle, you can respect everybody elder, in age like your parents. So that means there is no room for doing some special thing for some special people. That
Hmm.
speciality can be your quality for everyone. Like a
Hmm.
sun does not choose on which it has to shine, right? Wherever it falls,
Hmm.
wherever its rays fall, it will shine that thing.
Hmm.
Similarly, everything, if you look at nature, it doesn't choose. So why should we choose?
Hmm. But what is the idea behind this? Because like when you give an example of the cafe, like for here, when you're saying don't differentiate. So, but you nicely said anyone who comes for a cup of coffee, give them, because I was already thinking that what if someone is going and asking, I want tea here.
No, no. If you are serving tea, you
No,
will
like this
definitely
is a
give.
coffee cafe and they want a tea here. Then what?
No, but there are coffee shops which are also serving tea.
Yeah, but my question is that if, for example, something like that happens, like you are not serving it, and then that is
But if you are
coming.
not serving it whatsoever, it will happen. You cannot pull out water from a well that is dry, can you?
No,
Even if you put a bucket inside, what is going to
no.
happen? The well is going to say, sorry, I don't have. Right?
Yeah.
You can only deliver what you have, but you cannot say that only this bucket will get water, the other bucket will not. So
Okay.
similarly, when you look at things, you cannot say that I will only teach this person, I will not teach that person, I will only
Mm-hmm.
do for this person, I will not do for that person. Many a times, you know something, then you want to only tell this to your friends, not to
Mm-hmm.
others. But imagine you know something and you tell it to everyone. That's
Mm-hmm.
good. Then there is no choice. When you don't make choices, there is no differentiation. When there is no differentiation, you move up the ladder. I think I was reading one book. Yeah, this is the book. It's the Sing Sing Ming, and
Mm-hmm.
it starts with a beautiful verse. That one who has no preferences, okay, finds the way. So that means at the end, if you don't make preferences, if you don't make choices, you're already on the way. You're on the path of the dharma, and that's what Buddha is saying here. That
Mm-hmm.
I do not make differentiation of saving. If there is no, humans with me, I will save the birds. I'll save everybody, whoever it is, whatever species they are born from. So similarly, I will not only save X, Y, Z. I will save everybody. And so, like tomorrow, you become a doctor. You don't say, I'm only a doctor for humans. I will, if I can, and if I have the ability and the skill set, I might even save an animal.
Mm-hmm.
You understood? I don't care. Whatever I can do, I'll offer it to whosoever it is in need of. And that's what it is all about.
Got
Yeah?
it. Yeah, beautiful. But like, and even the example where you're sharing about the respect part and the
Yes.
sharing part, here you are giving us a different perspective, which comes more in like, oh, okay, so when I have something and I don't only limit it to this person or that person, but this is something very new and
Absolutely.
completely opposite. Because if you, this very naturally happens that when you're saying a notice period or something like that, it is very but natural that as you're going to go now, because again it comes like non-attachment is like leaving it.
No, 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 it's not like that. So this book, it's called the Sing Sing Ming.
Sing, maybe we
Okay.
can take that also with
Yeah.
the
So
dimension.
here it is saying the great way is not difficult. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
means achieving the path to Buddhahood is not difficult.
Hmm.
For whom? For those not attached to preferences.
Hmm.
Okay, when neither love nor hate arises,
Hmm.
means not love for something
Not
and
hate
nor
for.
hate for something. Okay, when both of them do not arise, all is clear and undisguised.
Hmm.
Separate by the smallest amount. If you separate something by the smallest amount, also, like
Hmm.
this is 99.1 and this is 100%.
Hmm.
Okay, you have already separated with the smallest amount.
Hmm.
Separate by the smallest amount, however, and
Hmm.
you are as far from it as heaven is from earth. Then you're as far from it means that path, like Buddhahood, as heaven is from earth. So
My
even the
God.
smallest discrimination, even the smallest differentiation is going to keep you apart from realizing the truth. And that's what Buddha is saying. He is not even having the smallest differentiation when it comes up to his responsibility of saving every beings and taking
Hmm.
them to the path of nirvana.
Wow. And if we like look at it, it's like is it just it can happen like how Buddha says in this moment, or like, because if it's that smallest part also, if that arises, then if it's heaven and earth, then
Yeah. You see, at Subhadi's stage, he's a
hmm,
disciple, right? He's asking questions. When he's asking the question, look at his point of choices. He's saying, when a virtuous man or a
and
virtuous
virtue.
woman, okay, who wishes to attain the state of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, he's putting in so many terms and conditions and preferences,
Hmm,
and
hmm,
then
hmm,
saying if
hmm.
they wish to. Buddha is saying nothing like it. Every bodhisattva, mahasattva should control their thoughts as this, whether they are formless, whatsoever it is. I shall lead everybody, whosoever, into perfect nirvana. Now,
Hmm,
my methods would be different, my
hmm, hmm,
techniques would be different, but my vow that I've made is going to happen, and I'm going to make sure that I'll be able to fulfill that vow.
hmm.
Now that's applicable. Now that
How?
means that when I do something, I will not make preferences in terms of this and that. I will go ahead and do things. Now that means I enter the unknown with no
Hmm,
choices. I go into the unknown to explore and experience. Many
hmm,
people want to do things, but they always use their past scale to measure
hmm,
the new experiences. But that doesn't work. You can repeat something after you have found something, right? You can use it based on your scale of experience for something to be repeated. But
hmm,
if you want to explore something new, you cannot do it with the old, right? You have to have it new. You have to give the chance for that newness to be there, and every moment of our life has the ability to give you a new experience. And that means I will not go with my past into the future. I
hmm.
will let the present decide what my future is. And that is why it's a very positive affirmation here that my present state of mind can shape up my future.
Hmm.
Right? So, my vows, my promises in the present state of mind is going to help me deliver myself in the future. And Buddha is saying that this is so much applicable that if you make a vow to yourself and you live by that vow, you promise to yourself that I shall not differentiate. Means from today I'm a diabetic patient and I'm going to not eat sweet except gulab jamu. Finish. You're gone. You cannot say, you're going to say, till my sugar levels are not maintained,
Hmm.
okay, I will not be taking any kind of sweet. So that's a vow. Then
Hmm.
whatsoever it is, even if a small kid gives you, or it's a most important function for you to get $1 million deal, you will not do it because that's what you have promised yourself. How skillfully you avoid is your skill.
Hmm.
You understood? But to keep that promise is another responsibility of yours. So very, very smartly, you should be able to do. I still remember Dr. Lim, one of the meetings,
Hmm.
somebody was offering him wine, and doctor does not even touch or serve or even hold any of the alcoholic drinks. So when he was doing that, he did not want to insult the person who was, because everybody were enjoying in
Yeah.
Europe, and wine culture, drinking culture is normal there. But
Hmm.
how did doctor do very smartly was he started saying, I have actually an allergic reaction to this, and maybe that is true also. But as soon as he added that, then it becomes a life-threatening thing. Nobody even dared to serve him anything. Instead, they made sure that his table was protected from not even having the smell of that. So
Oh.
that's how he created his own boundary, but skillfully.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. So
So
isn't
similar.
this like the because many of the people think that fourth Shila is like breaking of that when you're saying something which is not true.
No, it's not that. Skillful means, now when you break a Shila, you're not saying that you're not telling a lie. What was that fourth Shila? I shall not make false
False
claims.
claim.
Now, when you want to claim something which is false, so that you mislead people, harm people, you take something that does not belong to you, you want to disrupt the harmony, you want to get intoxicated, these are the other four which will help you decide whether this one is right or wrong. So when you break a Shila, you have to also look into the other aspects of it, whether you have really broken it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any issues? We are facing some issue.
No, no. I was just checking that. I got a message, but I think Ajay audio is okay. Okay, okay. Yeah. So I think we can now the audio is for you. It is okay, right?
For me, it is okay because
Okay,
we
okay.
are still at the green screen seat. Okay.
So I was confused because every time it comes up, I either you're doing this or not. because sometimes you have to avoid many things skillfully also. Otherwise I was like with when you I got to know non-differentiation initially, then I'm still confused, to be honest, that what it is and how to be applied in the many practical aspects of our life. But with Diamond Sutra and books like these, Sing Ming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more clearer for us to understand.
Yeah,
I think
so
it's yeah.
the whole thing is about do not differentiate. Means do not you see you want to do something. You make a
Hmm.
list of preferences. I want it this way. I want it that way. It is
Hmm.
not going to work because it will stop things.
Hmm.
You put too many preferences. So many people who want to do new things.
Hmm.
You want to add a new skill set.
Hmm.
Okay, let me do it then. Everything they procrastinate to another day, to another time. They want preferences. If everything is okay, then they will do it. No, it
Yeah,
doesn't work
yeah,
like that.
this.
You see a child in any house, maybe a rich man's house or a poor man's house,
Hmm.
he doesn't need any preferences to play his game. He goes
Yeah.
out and plays in whatsoever it is.
We have a video here. Can we play
Yeah.
that?
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
Aji, can you play that video? Uh, just create a new slide. We need 2 minutes to play it.
Sure, sure, no problem. Take your time.
I'll tell you. Can you create a new slide? There you have plus sign there in the scene section. Can you? I think the video is done. Oh, this one, this one. Hey, publish. In this video, when you shared it to me, I was like, the boy is so happy because we used to play football, and like the position of a goalkeeper is the last position you want to be in, because that is the most unhappening place we would feel like. But here this is the he is making it so exciting that you would feel like to be there.
Absolutely. So the fact is, do not take it too seriously, but do not take it too casually also.
Hmm.
If you know that the right way of doing things is to know what you have promised yourself, and then go ahead and do that. At the end, who are you here to serve? Yourself, right? You're
Hmm.
here to complete those promises that you've made to yourself. And when did you make these promises? Whenever life put you into challenges at an early stage in life, somewhere or the other, you might have made a promise to yourself,
Hmm.
or the situations would have forced you to make a promise to yourself. And
Hmm.
those promises, when you start living those promises, you're already conditioning yourself to Buddhahood, because Buddha is also here saying that I am just completing a vow that I have made for myself.
Hmm.
And that's why you should make those small vows, every day. Like New Year resolutions are important.
Hmm.
When you take a vow, now only thing is try to live by that promise every day. Okay, you want to do something, go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter whether it is right or wrong, whether it's going to be good or bad, whether people are going to like or dislike it, whether it's going to be profitable or there is going to be a loss. When you want to do it, do it. And that's exactly what a play is. A game is like that. When you don't play to win or lose, you play to play. And then you play. The result is just an outcome of your play, right? So you go ahead and doing is the key. So here Buddha is saying that that is the most important thing. Do not differentiate. Do
Hmm.
not differentiate means when you play a game, you do not say, oh, this is a strong opponent, I cannot play against him. Oh, this is a weak opponent, I want to play with him. You only when I have these five players with me, I'll be able to play. When I don't have this, I will not be able to play. No, 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 no. I was just seeing a reel of a very successful movie called Munna by MBBS. The movie, when it was about to be done, so they were taking the characters, and one of the main characters in that is basically I think his name is Boman Irani,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he was playing the role of the professor.
Hmm.
And this person, when he was told, he said what kind of a foolish story it is and what kind of a name of this movie it is, Munna by MBBS.
Hmm.
And he said it is impossible that this movie will pick up. All the top stars who were supposed to sign up for the movie did not sign up. Finally, they got Sanjay Dutt to sign up for that movie. He agreed, so they started to do it with him. And they say that they did not have the budget also to shoot the scene for their end, the marriage scene.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So they said what to do. They did not have the budget to do that, to help the setting. So then they said, let us try one thing, wherever there is a marriage, we'll just barge in and do a shot and we'll go. So they waited. Imagine all Harshad Varshi, Boman Irani, that everybody waiting for a marriage to get over. As the marriage got over, they climbed on the stage, they did that shooting, they completed their shot. Everybody came with all the camera, everything. They finished that part and then they left. They used a free setup to complete their movie. So you can imagine, and that became a super hit. So there is this always that will and desire to complete something that will put you on a journey to somehow, in India we call jugad. Do it, right? It doesn't matter. And here, see, who are watching us? Seven people. When you
Hmm.
stopped, you paused, you took that break. What difference does it make? It's not an embarrassment. It's
Hmm.
just a process of learning. Today you do it, tomorrow you will become better, the next day you will become much better. So the
Hmm.
more you keep on doing, this is
Yes.
where you'll know the place. That's why we say that the one who has traveled a lot knows the way, right?
Hmm.
So one who has tried a lot absolutely knows the way. So
Hmm.
try. Do not stop from trying. And that's
Hmm.
what here again it's saying, that do not differentiate between the past moment and
Hmm.
the present moment also. Do not
Hmm.
differentiate between anything.
Hmm. Yeah. Can we go to the next slide? If
Yeah. We have a next slide?
that's what we are checking. Yeah. We have one more slide. You have some time?
Yeah. We go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Like one more slide before the next chapter. But yeah, this has come from, I think, spending
So this
time
is
with
from the
you.
same
Same
chapter, right?
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when these immeasurable, countless, infinite number of beings have been liberated, in actuality, no being has attained liberation, as all beings are name and form and just illusions. Why is this so? Subhuti. If a bodhisattva attaches to the name and form of selves, people, beings, or existence, then she or he is not a bodhisattva.
So true. Now, when these immeasurable, countless, infinite number of beings, first Buddha promised that whosoever it is, immeasurable. I'll liberate all of them. But on the other side, he's saying when these immeasurable, countless, infinite number of beings have been liberated, in actuality, no being has attained liberation. So, in actuality, it means that not a single person has got that liberation that Buddha has taken a vow to liberate. Why? Because he knows that these are just name and forms and are just illusions. Why is this so? Because he's saying, Subhuti, if a bodhisattva attaches to name and form of self, people, being, or existence, then he or she is not a bodhisattva. Now, here comes where he is saying that what is a bodhisattva? Who is a bodhisattva? Bodhisattvas are one who do not differentiate. Bodhisattvas are one who do not measure, do not say that this and that. They are doing things without any measurement, without any differentiation. And why? Because they don't see things as name and form, as separate self. They see everything as one. And if they attach to name and form, if they attach to people, and they attach to being and existence, these are the four things we should never use when you're doing things, when you're, because these are the reasons why we differentiate. When you talk about myself, yourself, and when you talk about me, you, they, here you're differentiating already. So any action done in this process is already taking you far away from being a bodhisattva. Okay, this is so important because the thoughts arise because of differentiation. When there is no differentiation, there is no thought. Imagine you look at a white screen where there is not a single black dot. What kind of a thought arise? Nothing. But as soon as you see a black dot somewhere on that white screen, finish. Hey, there is this black dot. How did it come? Is it a pen mark? You will have tons of thought because that differentiation happened. Okay, so when your mind will start seeing things as separate in terms of me and you and they as selves, or people, as this person and that person, differentiating between people itself, or being, this being and that being, in this state of being and that state of being, and or existence itself, that oh, this is existent, this is not existent, this is there, this is not there, then you're already thinking. And once you're thinking, then thoughts will arise. So how do you control your thoughts? You cannot control the thoughts like that. The only thing is you make sure that there are no thoughts produced. You see, imagine somebody is just hitting a soap water and creating thousands and thousands of bubbles. How can you make sure that the bubbles all do not arise? Stop making those bubbles, right? You have to go to the root where the bubbles are being made. So here non-differentiation is the way. If he keeps on making those differentiations, then definitely what he is not a bodhisattva. And that's what Buddha is saying, that for one to control his thoughts, because if he can control his thoughts, he is already a bodhisattva. And that he is giving us a most important secret of non-differentiation. And how do you apply this in your life? You have to, when you do things, when you speak things or you do things, make sure you're not using any of these four things. Do not talk about yourself, do not talk about them, others, do not talk about people, this kind of people and that kind of people, and if it is like that, no. Do not even talk about being, it has to be like this, it has to be like that. No preferences, not in terms of self, not in terms of people, not in terms of being like the way you want it to be, not in terms of existence also, or non-existence. If it is like this, then it will happen. Okay, if it exists, then it will happen. If it doesn't exist, so for example, you want to do become a trainer. You say, oh, if there is audience, if there are existence of at least 20, 30 people, then I will do. No, even if there is one, you still have to do it. That's where your representation matters, your role matters. So it's not the audience that decides what you're going to deliver. It's going to be you who's going to start delivering based on the audience. Whatever it is, if there is one audience, go in a conversation. Go, if you have 100 people, go into presentation. You choose, but you do not put preferences that it should be like that. Oh, I went for a presentation and there were only 5 people, so I did not feel like doing. Finish. It doesn't matter. You have already failed. You're not on the path of bodhisattva. You have differentiated. Those five who honestly came to witness you, you also did injustice to them. So many a time when we have an event, okay, there are people, you give them a time at 9 a.m. Some people come at 8:45, right? They come and sit there. At 9 o'clock, they expect things to start. But then only those who have not arrived at 9 a.m., you say, oh, let us wait for for another 10 minutes. Those people are still arriving. Hey, what did the person who came at 8:45 do wrong for him to wait for another 10 minutes? He already came 15 minutes earlier, and you are asking him to wait a 10 minutes late, another waiting, that's 25 minutes. At the end, that's not right. You differentiated. You should have done what was promised. You were supposed to set up and start at 9 a.m. Do it at 9 a.m. That's how it is. Or make a clear announcement that we will gather at 9 a.m. Okay, then based on the audience at 9:10 we are going to start. Make it very clear. People should know that you are hiding no material fact and not giving preference to any particular kind of people. So this is again applicable in your businesses, in your leadership roles, whatsoever you're doing. Non-differentiation is going to be the key through which you're going to lead yourself to that state where there are no more thoughts that are going to bother you, and you will be able to control whatever is there, because you can control only something that is in your control, right? It means you can only manage that is manageable. When it goes out of, like, you can, let the wind blow and you can manage to, but when the storm comes you cannot manage. So thoughts, when they are few you can manage, but once they are many you cannot. You'll have to close your doors and shut down yourself, right? So this is how you have to learn. So again, Buddha is teaching us here that the only way is to not differentiate, and especially between the four: the self, people, beings, and things, existence.
Amazing. That's the most beautiful, you can say, something that you can learn from. And this, if we are, when we like just take it as it is, and if we are able to apply like you have shared with us, then I think the pace which we can do things for ourselves will be so smooth and easier and faster also.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way we should be living, in a mode of realizing that everything today which has the its so-called name and form is just an illusion. It's going to pass away.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not going to hold on to it. So maybe somebody used a harsh word against you
Hmm.
someday, at some point, at some situation, and you hold on to it for the rest of the life. It will be like you will be suffering on an event that happened a long time back, and you're creating it again and again when it just is remaining as an illusion. Reality happened at that time, but
Hmm.
after that every thought about it was just an illusion, right? So every feeling that came along with it of hate was an illusion. And why would you let an illusion affect your reality? Because your past is an illusion, it is gone, it has become a thought, but your present is reality. Why would you let the past illusion affect your present reality? So understand this. So most of the experiences of the past, they are so much a part of our conditioning that we miss out on living the present reality. And Sat means that reality where the mind can reside is where the bliss is. So we call it Sat Chit Anand. Where the mind, the Chitta, resides in reality, that's where the bliss is.
Hmm. Be- I mean, amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
Like again, then you, it's like, how do you put it into words? It's just something that you can sometimes, you can taste what you're saying, and sometimes you feel those goosebumps. That amazing. Like, if living the sutra would be living this moment. And when you're sharing how thoughts are just every time you experience a reality, and when it put goes as an experience, and if you're living the experience again, and that is just an illusion, and all things born from that were illusions. So it doesn't matter anything, like in this moment itself is what is reality. Because this actually happens, when if someone is saying a harsh word to you, or you're failing at something, you're not able to do, you live with that, because the basic idea is that in a way you don't want to forget it, so that you don't repeat it. But again, if you just live with that, that feeling also carries, and then it's useless. You got my
So
point. Like
yeah.
the idea that you don't want to repeat that thing, but if you don't think about that, then how do you don't not repeat it the same
No,
thing?
you don't repeat it because you think. First and foremost, the idea that you're thinking
Mm-hmm.
is foolish. You
Yes.
cannot think. You're not a thinking creature. Thinking happens to you because you have experienced it. You
Yes.
see, if the day you actually ate an apple, that's
Mm.
where you experience the apple.
Mm.
But after that, because of that experience, all the thoughts were born because of that experience. Can you think about something that you never experienced?
No.
You cannot. You even fantasize something that you have either experienced by seeing it, by reading about it, or something. You cannot fantasize about something that you've never experienced, or you cannot. So, always remember your five senses are the basis that feed the mind. That's the thoughts, right? And hence, all that the five senses have been feeding upon, the mind can actually do permutation, combination of that to produce thoughts. And that's exactly what you should not be worried about, because thoughts are thoughts. They are not reality. But can thoughts produce reality? Yes, because thoughts put you into action mode. Maybe that action will then start shaping things up. So many a times people actually are able to manifest things because they are able to allow the thoughts to become action.
Mm-hmm.
People who do not manifest things are those who do not allow the thoughts to become action. And
Mm.
then there are conditions for things to manifest also. You should
Mm.
understand. And so these conditions to be created is again the responsibility of the one who is going to act. And
Mm.
action means experiencing. Experiencing means doing it. Doing it means it cannot be done in the past or the future. It has to be done now. That
Mm.
means doing now is being in a state of no thought and only action. Because when you're acting, there is no thought.
Mm.
You understand? When you're thinking about food, you're thinking about food because there is no food. But when there is food, you're not thinking about it. You're eating it. You understood?
Mm.
You when you are thinking about climbing a mountain, that is a thinking. That's a thought. You're not climbing. But when you're climbing the mountain, you're not thinking about climbing the mountain. You're thinking about how to climb the mountain in the next phase, right? So your thoughts are either of the past or of the future. Future is born because there is something of the past. Otherwise, there is no future also. The only thing that matters is the now. And so the now is where there is this state of no differentiation. Because differentiation is always past and future. The present has no differentiation. Because the present is still experiencing. So, as you can bring your mind to the present moment, and that again needs a practice. You cannot just say, "Oh, I'll do it." Many a times we feel that confident, I can go ahead and do it. This is easy, I can do it. Like you see people swimming in water. Oh, they are just shaking their hands and like leg. What is so great about it? Even I can do it. Jump in the water and you'll know. Yeah, you'll know. You'll know it is not so easy that it looks like. And so many a times what visually we see and the mind assures that it is easily done.
No.
Until you do it, it is not, sir. You know, even a simple thing like rubbing two stones and getting a spark out seems so easy. But I can assure you, try doing that, and if you even get me a little spark out, I will really accept you as a great person, because it is not easy,
Mm.
to get the fire out from two stones rubbing each other and holding that spark and creating fire. Those were also skills. So how do you acquire a skill? Is by repetitively doing things again and again and again. In that mode of repetition, you just better yourself, you smoothen yourself. The journey becomes like the rock that flows along with the river water. You see, the stones in the river are smooth. The stones
Yeah.
which are not in the river, which are
Are
lying
rough.
on the shore, are not smooth.
No.
So when you want to smoothen life, you'll have to flow, and the flow is always in the now. Then do not stop. Do not push on things for another day.
Mm.
You understand? If you feel like saying sorry to somebody right now, do it. If
Mm.
you want to say that you like something, say it. You
Mm.
love somebody, say it. Do not hold on to a future day. That is not there. It will not happen. Maybe it will be too late. You want to do it there and then. You
Mm.
understand? You cannot hold on to too much, things. Someday it will just come out. And when it comes out, it's not the way you wanted it. And if you want it to be the way you want it, it can only happen in the now,
Yeah.
right? You exist only in the now, and you can only do things in the now,
Mm.
not in the past, not in the future, because that's not where you are.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was the for today. This were the verses, and thank you so much for sharing these beautiful insights. Now we know how Diamond Sutra is practically applicable, though it seems something very
But
spiritual.
now, Dhruv, today, if you have to learn a lesson today, you learned a
Yes.
lesson. Okay, now you learned a lesson of non-differentiation. Where
Okay.
is it? Are you going to apply? That's the key.
Yes.
Yeah, because the challenge here is, am I going to apply it? If I'm
Hmm.
going to apply it, then I'm going to make sure that wow remains, that formula remains in my mind, that
Hmm.
whatsoever it is,
Hmm.
howsoever it is, I will not differentiate. I will
Hmm.
not put preferences. It see, remember, not too casually, not too
Not to.
seriously. Okay, live life in between both. You understood the casualness and the seriousness. If you can know how to blend that, and like a pendulum swing between both, sometimes you have to be serious at things,
Hmm.
sometimes you have to be casual at things,
Hmm.
sometimes you don't need both of them. You
Hmm.
need to be in the middle.
Hmm.
You have to be that wise person to know that that is how the pendulum needs to move, that is how time moves between two extremes. Okay, so there will be two states of yours, but you need to know where to stop. You
Hmm.
understand? If you know how much to do, when you are tired, exerted, you take rest.
Hmm.
But when you have rested well, please go and exert.
Hmm.
You cannot just keep on doing one thing, right? That will
Hmm.
become, like Dr. Lim says, that will make you a donkey.
Hmm.
You don't want to be a donkey. And you don't do so much that you become a monkey.
Hmm.
Between the donkey and the monkey, you oscillate in
Hmm.
doing things, right? That's where your being is.
Yeah. So that is how we apply it. Like
Yeah.
for example, if someone wants to have that clarity, am I applying it like in like full day of hours? Like today, if I want to see that I'm applying it, not what is like that check or something?
So when you're doing an act,
Mm-hmm.
trace down the reason that you're doing this act.
Hmm.
Is it based on differentiation?
Hmm.
Then you will know, I'm doing this because of this differentiation. I'm doing the because this is my duty, or this is my responsibility, this is what I've promised myself I'm doing, without any differentiation. You'll know. Okay,
Okay.
then put in those four things. What is it? First is yourself.
Hmm.
Do not talk about self.
Hmm.
Do not talk about people,
Hmm.
others. Do not talk about, like, it has to be like this and it has to be like that. Do not talk about existence, that, oh, if it was like that, and if conditions are like that, if favorable like that, if existence support. No, no. Other than these four things, you talk. Don't talk. Then what is remaining to talk? You tell me. There is nothing remaining to talk. Then there is only one thing to do. Then only doing and when will you talk? When you're doing, there will be these moments where you need help. Water, when it flows, it only makes noise when it is obstructed.
Hmm.
Otherwise it silently passes away. You see, when you breathe, only when you have obstruction in your breathing pathway, that's where the wheezing sound comes. So the noise that is created is always through obstruction. So the one who is obstructed will always be complaining.
Hmm.
You understood? One who is not obstructed will be free flowing without any noise.
Hmm.
And we always are surprised with those who we never realized that they could reach some top position. And we said, hey, we never knew also, because the guy never made any noise to achieve what he has achieved. So that is what I say, free flowing. And here, that free flowing is when you don't obstruct yourself with these four kinds of differentiation. And if you don't do that, you're freely flowing. And that means you are able to progress. Yeah, I think that's a
Yes.
good note to end this session today.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining and giving us time. And thank you all who are watching. And yeah, today we had some challenges. Hope so we'll be able to recover from that. But it is in the doing that we get to know all of these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
But now at least we know that these are the things that we have to face. So hope to see you tomorrow for the Sutra talks at 7 a.m. But you guys have Shunya talks lined up with you at 8:30 a.m. and then 10 a.m. Thank you guys and
Thank
namaste
you.
and bye bye.
Namaste. Bye bye.